Hello, everyone. Today we will be comparing Activision with EA.
Activision Blizzard was founded in 1979 in Sunnyvale, California by former Atari game developers. These developers decided to leave the company because of the way they were treated in Atari and felt that they can do better elsewhere. And that's where they created Activision. In 1993, Activision raised about 40 million and went public to join the stock market. And on October 29, 2003, that's when Call of Duty, the first Call of Duty came out and sold about 790,000 copies and earned about 29.6 million by August 2006. In 2008, Activision later acquired Blizzard Entertainment by acquiring Vivendi Games, which is the company that did own Blizzard Entertainment. And now Activision Blizzard is located in Santa Monica, California. Their most populated games are Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, Hearthstone, Overwatch, and Candy Crush. And they are currently under the investigation from the Department of Fair Employment and Housing from California for their frat boy culture conducted by the company's executives who have all stepped down and are still under investigation. EA, Electronic Arts, they were founded in 1982 in San Mateo, California by Trip Hawkins. This company was almost named Amazing Software, but his employees disliked the name and they decided to go with Electronic Arts. And in my opinion, I wouldn't have really want to been an investor if they were named Amazing Software. That seemed kind of silly to me. So that would have been a bad decision for their part. Anyways, EA decided to go public in 1989, about 4 years before Activision, with a market capitalization of about 84 million. The first Madden game to come out from EA was John Madden Football in 1988, right before they went public. And they decided to change instead of John Madden Football, they decided to change it to just Madden in about 1994. EA is now located in Redwood City, California. Their most popular games are Madden, FIFA, Battlefield, Star Wars, and Apex Legends, with the new Battlefield coming out in October and Apex Legends gaining a lot of traction from streamers and such things like that, and Activision losing subscribers. EA is expected to continue to rise.
Hey, everyone. I'll be covering a brief overview of the current stock status for Electronic Arts and Activision Blizzard. Looking at the table on the left, the first thing we notice is that EA has a much higher stock price than Activision, but Activision actually has a much larger market capitalization overall. The reason for this being is that Activision has a lot more outstanding shares than EA. Activision has 778 million outstanding shares, while EA has about a third of that with 285 million outstanding shares. Another thing I'd like to point out, which is actually not listed on the table, is the year-to-date stock status. Year-to-date, EA has seen a 5.08% increase in stock price, while Activision is heading in the opposite direction. Year-to-date, Activision has a 9.7% decrease in stock price. If we look at the 52-week high points, EA is much closer to their 52-week high point value than Activision. Overall, EA has been on an upward trend, while Activision has been on a downward trend. Also, Activision has a much larger volume of trades being made. This can be credited to the fact that they have much more outstanding shares than EA. Moving on to the PE ratio, or the price to earnings ratio, we can see that Activision has a ratio of 24.37, while EA is at 62.95. The typical PE ratio for the SP 500 companies usually lies in the 20 to 30 point range. Given these two companies' ratios, one might say that they are being overvalued, especially EA, or it can be interpreted as EA is growing at a much faster rate and has higher value expectations as well. Lastly, looking at the EPS, earnings per share, we can see that Activision is at 3.33 and EA is at 2.33. Overall, based on the information that has been shared, it appears that EA would be a safer option to invest in, mainly due to their more stable upward trend versus Activision's downward trend, who also happens to be facing legal issues for the time being.
Hi, everyone. My slide talks about the major shareholders of Activision and EA. EA has 1,482 institutional owners and shareholders that have filed for the 13DG or 13F forms with the Securities Exchange Commission. These institutions hold a total of 262,991,881 shares. EA has 1,482 institutional owners and shareholders. One of the major institutional holders for the EA would be on the number one, BlackRock Incorporated at 8.13%. And then on the second place, we have the Vanguard Group Incorporated with a 7.68%. On the other hand, Activision has 1,856 institutional owners and shareholders that have filed 13DG or 13F forms with the Securities Exchange Commission. And these institutions hold a total of 677,051,096 shares. One of the major institutional holders for the Activision would be the Vanguard Group Incorporated with the 8.26%. And then on the second spot would be the BlackRock Incorporated, 7.44%.
Hello, so I'll be talking about the key executives. For EA, Andrew Wilson, he is the CEO and director. He became the CEO of EA in 2013. Prior to becoming CEO, he was the vice president of EA Sports. He had 13 years of prior experience within EA before he became president. And when he became CEO, the EA's share prices were about less than half of what it was in 2007. And now with Andrew Wilson's leadership, it's now one of the highest of all time. Their three core strategic pillars are putting players first, driving a digital transformation, and operating as a team. And then for Activision, their CEO is Robert Kotick. He became CEO in 1991. He, prior to becoming the CEO, he had only purchased 25% of Activision share in 1990. Around that time, Activision was in the verge of bankruptcy with like 30 million in debt. Kotick was interested in getting into the game industry because of EA's former CEO, Trip Hawkins. About a year later, when Kotick became CEO, they were in debt for about 30 million, but now they're one of the top gaming industries. He was the one that conducted the merge of Activision and Blizzard in 2008. Their mission is quoted to say that our mission is to inspire audience to play, connect, and compete by making the most engaging entertainment in the world. And our talent evaluation process ensures that each new hire ensures that commitment. And that is all for my slide.
Hello, I will be going over Electronic Arts and Activision's environmental, social, and governance risk ratings. An ESG risk rating is what can be defined as a measure of a company's exposure to industry-specific material risks and how well said companies will respond and manage those risks. Currently, both EA and Activision have maintained relatively low total ESG risk scores of 13 and 16 respectively, according to Yahoo Finance. The primary concern for EA lies in their use of loot box mechanics in their games, which has sometimes been labeled as gambling, often accused of being targeted towards minors. And this has resulted in various legal disputes over the past few years, as listed on the slides, with the most significant court ruling recently coming from the Netherlands, in which the Netherlands Gaming Authority found EA guilty of violating the country's Betting and Gaming Act and was subsequently fined up to 10 million euros. This has sparked some concern over similar lawsuits occurring across Europe. However, as of right now, it is unlikely for these lawsuits to seriously impact EA's current business model in the near future, although that is something to take into consideration when looking at EA long term. In regards to Activision, they have been under some more intense scrutiny over the past few months when the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing announced their lawsuit against Blizzard Entertainment, one of a major subsidiary of Activision. The lawsuit alleges that management at Activision Blizzard failed to prevent unlawful discrimination, harassment, or retaliation against female employees who reported sexual harassment. The lawsuit has recently been expanded to include contract and temporary employees after the DFEH reported that Activision improperly disposed of evidence relevant to the ongoing investigation, although they have since denied this. As a result, several members of Blizzard Entertainment's senior leadership have resigned, including President J. Allen Brack. Additionally, a shareholder has filed a class action lawsuit claiming that Activision Blizzard's quarterly filings contain statements that are now materially false in light of the DFEH lawsuit. Taking all this into consideration, the ESG risk rating for Activision may not accurately reflect Activision's actual risk right now, as it was released prior to the California DFEH's lawsuit. That'll be all for this slide. So we chose to compare EA and Activision due to the similarities in both companies, both in terms of size and business model, as well as since the gaming industry has boomed significantly over the past few years, especially last year due to the COVID pandemic. And overall, EA would be our choice to invest in. This is due in part due to the California DFEH's ongoing lawsuit against Activision, as well as notable decreases in popularity among Activision's popular titles such as World of Warcraft and Call of Duty, while EA's games such as Apex Legends continue to rise in popularity. And we expect EA to continue making steady profits over the next few months and for their stock price to steadily increase. And that covers our analysis of EA and Activision.